politics.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fasia Hilton. I am a family nurse practitioner. I'm also a Liberian, and thank you, Pastor Patient, for having me on. Mhm.
Yes. Well, I think let's take it one. Let's take it step by step. Let's look at the religious side first. The point you just made, the point you just made is well taken because many people think that when they say the Bible say when your finger hurting you must cut it off, but it literally doesn't mean that when your finger hurting you must take knife and cut it off. That's not what the Bible says. But the Bible, the people that wrote the Bible, they are inspired men of God. And these people spoke through parable. When Jesus came on this earth, Jesus spoke through parable. So if you because that's why Jesus told Nicodemus, said you must be born again. And Nicodemus asked God and said, "Oh, you mean I have to go back into my mother's womb?" That's not what God was. That's not what Jesus was talking about. There are many people that sit in Liberia patient that think that, oh, just because the person is a woman or man of God, they can perform a miracle. Like some people get up and they go to the prophet people, or they go to woman and man of God for them to come to America. For me coming to America, I didn't have to go to a prophet man or go to a church leader to say, no, please pray for me to go to America. That's not what I did. But I prayed within myself, and I knew that I was going to be here in the 80s when I was much younger. So it's many people. There are people in Liberia today that are going to prophet people, that are going to some church leaders, and they will take their last money they got to send their children to school, or the last money they got to buy a cup of rice to eat. Patient, that's not what God said people should do. You see, the pastor man got a parable say, "Zuni Bible to be." It means that another spirit cannot pray for another spirit. You have to kneel down, get on your own knees, and help the religious people to pray for you. The reason why people congregate is for you to fellowship with each other. And if somebody tell you, oh, they have certain supernatural power on this earth, of course, some people got supernatural power, which is not God supernatural power, because God's supernatural power help for people to grow. It don't kill people. You see, God made you. God look at you. He made you. He said, before you even got into your mother womb, I knew you. So of course, God not there to destroy. God there to elevate. The poverty that people face in Liberia, patient religiously, it is not God doing. Because God created the idea and the corridor by which we're supposed to stay and survive, live, and be able to. He said, I feed the birds that are flying, the ants that are walking on the ground. What's about human beings?
Right.
You see? So these things, people misconstrue what the Bible says. And they saw me, you saw me, when they hear they say this is a woman of God, they're setting or performing that they're waiting for you to do. For which, look, I'm against the fact where Liberian people put all their possessions together. They hustle whole day. There was no job in Liberia. There was no nothing. They take their last money, they throw back up a rest for them, they're trying to eat, and carry it to a prophet man for the prophet man to pray for them, to say because they want to come to America or they want to travel. You see, these things are things that you can't do. And look, one of the things that people, look, they let Robert Mugabe say something, and I quote, Robert Mugabe was a very smart man. And Robert Mugabe said when Jesus Christ came on this earth, he was feeding the poor, he was helping the poor. But today it is the poor that are helping the religious leadership. You see, in places like Liberia and other places, because of the kind of destitution that have hit these people. The people are just in Liberia patient. The people are suffering. You see? Let me look at the political aspect of it quickly. George, we are a historian. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, just to add a caveat to what Abraham said, and you hit it on the nail. Nowadays, Christian, we are all into prosperity prophecy.
Right.
That's all we want. We want to hear what, oh, the Lord said you're gonna be prosperous, you're gonna get rich. We want to hear the good things, but we don't want to get to know God for ourselves.
True.
And we go to prophecy, like you said, people go there to get visa to come to America or to get a job, what have you. And you go there, you give them money to pray for you. Anybody tell me, say, let me pray for you to do this, I will run. If they say, let me pray with you, I can see.
Right.
But we want these things happening for us, for them to stand as a proxy for us to God. Get to know God yourself. Get to know him yourself.
Right.
And the question about, oh, this pastor did not see what he did not foresee what happened, or God did not reveal it to him. Yes, the Lord reveals to redeem, but like you said, Pastor Patient, he doesn't reveal everything. And most prophets, most people of God will tell you they don't see things that will happen to themselves. Other prophets have to see it.
Right.
So that's just my little 2 cents that I want to add to that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. But no, of, of course not. Of course not. Yet a key, the reason why security was not provided. There is a guy who George Weah put in office, who is the police director. They call him Patrick Sudet. Patrick Sudet is one of the most miseducated people in the Republic of Liberia. I don't know where he got his job from. I don't know why they put him in office, where he went to school to become a police officer. Because, patient, the reason why I speak to this is because I'm a former United States law enforcement officer for this country. The point there is, advice and consent. Liberian Constitution, advice and consent. If you look at the president appoint, because if you look at our government, we have 3 branches of government. You got the judiciary, the legislative, and of course the executive. The executive appoint the legislature or confirm. Patrick Sudet was appointed as police director for the Republic of Liberia, I believe. But he doing the work of George Weah, debating for George Weah. He have been using Gestapo tactics in our country. Mhm. Thank you. I will give you a case in point. Quite recently, Alexander Cummings is going to court in Liberia now because he has been accused, and of course, anybody can accuse you, and anybody can go to court in our republic. They think that it's the Constitution provide for that. The Constitution provide for that. Patrick Sudet, as because Alexander Cummings is a political figure in Liberia. I'm not his friend. Alice and myself, I'm not part of ANC. But since Alexander Cummings began going to court, Patrick Sudet were able to dispatch police over there where they use tear gas and rubber bullet to disperse the crowd, more especially the supporter of a registered political party is violation of our constitution, is a violation of the demonstrators. Because if you look at Liberia, the only time people didn't have the right to demonstrate was when Samuel Doe was in office. He was ruling by decree. So the constitution that was put in office in 1847, which was the Green League Constitution, was suspended. They suspended the constitution. So the military coup that took place during the PRC were working with what they call decree, and as such, the constitution was suspended. Because the constitution was suspended, the people could not go on the street and demonstrate. But if you look at Liberia Constitution, let's look at Liberia Constitution. They appointed Amos Sawyer and what, to name a few. What they got, Archibald Bana. Archibald Bana was the Secretary General of the revised Constitution in our country. When Samuel Doe changed the country to civilian rule in 1985. If you look at the Constitution, go back to the First Amendment right of a Liberian citizen. It is the same thing here in America, where freedom of expression, freedom of association, and freedom of speech is written right there. It's the First Amendment right of a Liberian citizen. Those rights, the government cannot. The government has no right to infringe on the right of a Liberian person, whether they are recruited, whether they are poorly educated or richly educated. For Mr. Sudi to unleash police to say they have to disperse crowd at the temple of justice or public place where the people have the right to gather, I think he had lost his mind. He sent police. The question you asked a very good question. There was no disturbance in the idea that the standard bearer of a registered political party in the country had to go to court, and his supporter present at the temple of justice is not a crime that any of those people they didn't violate no law, they didn't break no law, they didn't break not one chair, they didn't break no ground, they didn't smash window. They were peaceful demonstrators. Our constitution provides for peaceful demonstration. You see, so for Mr. Sudi, you know, the last time, you know, I don't want to divert from this conversation, patient, but I gave you a case in point. There is a guy called Yeke Koluba in Liberia, and Yeke Koluba is a representative. Look, when I left Liberia, I left the Capitol building. I was very young when I came to this country. I worked for the Liberian government, and I left Liberia and I came here. It was through the Capitol building I came to America. But if you look at Yeke Koluba, who is a representative, somewhere he represents one of the districts around the Oro area there. Right. Yeke Koluba, this guy, this Patrick Sudi police director, decided to go and arrest a certain representative. Maybe my sister, maybe my sister, who am I saying on the show, can speak to that as well, because maybe I'm wrong. But you know, patient, I'm not too clever, but I'm a scholar. I'm telling you, when it comes to Liberian law, you understand? I'm not a lawyer, but I want to thank God that God gave me wisdom for me to, from the time Liberia was established. I can tell you from the day Liberia was established to now. The thing that is, if you look at our constitution, for far too long, the rulership of Liberia had violated the Liberian constitution, and they continue to violate the constitution because the illiteracy rate of our people is so high. You see? Because patient, the reason why the reason why I said that is if the Liberian people knew the Constitution the way I know it, Patrick Suda will not be police director tonight. You see, that's the reason. That's the reason why I said that, because if our people knew what their rights are under the Constitution, then you know that Joy Weirden wouldn't do the kind of thing that they are doing in the country. But there,
I think, let me just add a little caveat
yeah,
here. I think
go,
when Ibrahim talked about the illiteracy in Liberia, I think that stems from our people not knowing, like he said, not knowing their rights and not voicing their concern. We accept everything. We accept everything, and so it leads to such incidents like these. Yes.
you know, patient. Let me tell you something. If you have people who graduate from the University of Liberia who don't know what ECOWAS is, Economic Community of West African States, with a University of Liberia degree, then of course that person don't need that degree. That degree need to be burned. You know, it hurt me. For those of us who are in the generations of the 60s, coming all the way to the 70s, to be the last group of people that were educated in Liberia, besides the people who have money, who took their children out of that place and sent them into exile into different countries to learn something. You know, I want to be able to teach my sons and my 3 daughters that are born in America to tell them about my country.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that one about the 60s. So I was educated in the 70s and the 80s. There.
But that's why I said,
and I consider myself well educated.
I said from the 60s coming all the way to the 80s, the 70s and the 80s.
Okay.
That's what I just said. Let me use the word before the war. Before the war.
Okay, before the war.
Because what I'm trying to tell you is this. If you have teachers, even though teachers were taking bribe in Liberia since we were there, now it's come and say Western. You know, look, the truth is very difficult to grapple with. You know, look, if you look at people going to CWA, people going to my school. I came from Haywood Mission School, and my secondary education, my elementary and secondary education came from Beaumont. I lived in Beaumont. I grew up in Beaumont. I was 2 years old when my father sent me to Beaumont. Okay, so we went to the company school, and teacher didn't have to take bribe to teach us because their salary were on time and everything. But if you look at me, before I went to Haywood, if you went to Haywood those days, after 6 weeks, the deal system would demote you if you didn't perform what you said. And in fact, if you brought a document from any school, he would check on it. But tell me today in Liberia, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not always right. And I don't want to be right. But the thing that I'm telling you, from the 60s, I'm not talking about our forefathers and now from the time we were born, coming all the way to the child center war, sister. Those people that were in school before they walk in, that graduated from school before they walk in, those are people who really learn. But how can war be going on? Even I tell my younger brother there who were not nothing when the war started. You have to really look at these people, what they're doing. Some of these people can't even write a 15 letter. You graduate from the University of Liberia and can't write a 15 letter. Patient is a problem. You see,
I have to agree with you on that. Yes.
you see, it's a
It's a major,
package.
major issue. Yes.
Okay, I don't mean to demean nobody, but I'm just trying to tell you. If you look at what is going on, people, we all got these zero platform. We come on the platform and this and that, and the rest of the patient. Of course, yes, people we because of modern technology, anybody can get up, pick up their phone or pick up your computer and do what you got to do. But let's look at Liberia. Let's look at Liberia. When I went to Liberia, I was very, very disappointed. What disappointed me is the fact that George Weah had never had any press conference. I mean, he had never had a cabinet meeting since he became president. He had never had one cabinet meeting since he became president. How do you expect for and you know, one of the things that I don't know as what I thought we know that the ministers are his advisors. The ministers are advisors to the president on various departments. Okay? Corruption. I understand Liberia was corrupt from 1847 to now, but Congress said it's worse up. You bribe for every little thing you do in Liberia. You see, so you know, I want to let me give my sister a chance. Let her put, you know, let her eye on the voice to this thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to be the one to just be talking all night tonight. I want to just be talking all night.
Well, I'm not. Let me just put a disclaimer. I'm not into politics. I'm here on the health issues. But some of the things that you are pointing out, you know, they are accurate.
Look, patient. Let me just because we're going to be discussing health as well. Let me take you with now that I just cleared out that one with Alexander Cummings. The incident that just happened in Nukutan. Let's look at it where people family lost their life. You know, look, the war was a dangerous thing. Charles Taylor, his son, and whosoever connected to Charles Taylor in that war, you know, patient, you know me very well. I criticize Tom Williams, who is my brother, my late brother. I criticize Tom Williams because war was not necessary in our country. And that war, even before one bullet went off, I used to tell Tom all the time, don't be part of this thing. Don't be part of it. I was living with him when that war started in on December 24th or 1989. Now, if you look at what happened in Nukutan a few nights ago, where you got packets of generator lights in the country, the question there is why Liberia don't have light this time since the cessation of the war of hostility in the country. The international community, if the Liberian people go back to the same education I was talking about, if the Liberian people were uncrum with what had been going on, they by now they would throw George Weah and his whole entire group out of office because you know what? The international community have pumped billions of dollars into Liberia, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, George Weah, and all these people they divide our money among themselves. You see? So, in fact, if you want to know, get more information, ask the United States ambassador. Ask the United States ambassador. He just said it because even the packets of generators that they got over there, they represent and senator. They don't want to pay that bill. They don't want to pay that bill. The poor people that are there who even got food to eat, they got no job. They work 15 to 16 months before they can get one paycheck. And they want to pay that bill in Liberia. You see? So the Nukutan incident, what happened to Patrick Sule, who can disperse crowd? Or he knew fully well that the people are going to be having service over there. Why the government did not provide security for people in that proximity? You see? But it But, patient, you had a key here. When I went to Liberia, let me tell you something. Let the women be praised. The women of Liberia, women should be praised because the women, patient. When I lived in Liberia, my mother was not a breadwinner for the family. My mother was not. My father was the breadwinner for our family. But it's the other way around. The women are the breadwinner. You know, you got young girls that are stepping up to the food. Yeah, yeah, the problem here. You know, when I went to Liberia, patient, I met a friend. I met a friend of mine. We decided to meet our old friends. It was not only me alone. The pastor I introduced you to. He and I arrived on Friday. He arrived on Saturday. He and his wife. So we met our old friends. We had a tournament in Liberia to honor the young guys, our old friends. So went to a restaurant to get something to eat. We had a group of boys there, you know, with us, and we wanted to get food to eat, you know, so we could have good time together. Because as for me, I left Liberia about 40 years and more before I went back there recently. So when we told the people to bring the food, there was a guy in the group, one of our friends. He called me on the pastor on the side. He said, "German, I cannot eat." My man, we all decided to come here to get something to eat. He said, "You're not eating?" He said, "You ain't know my problem. You can't even talk to you." So the guy told all the guys, said, "Look, the money y'all got for me to eat here right now, y'all give me that money." Yes, y'all give me that money because I got 4 children home. And my wife, who have not eaten. We have not eaten for days. So I told the guy, yes. So I told the guy, I said, "You know what? Say no more. Don't say anything right now because the crowd we got right here, I ain't got money for ordering it." The pastor said, "I ain't got money for ordering it." But you know what's going to happen when you're ready to go? Just let her know. Nothing happened. The conversation, we didn't have it. We got to eating everything. We took $10. I took $10 patient. I gave it to that guy. That $10 looked like $1 million in the eyes of that dude. The point I'm trying to make here is this. When you look at men in Liberia, when you have a country that destroy the men of Liberia patient, then of course that country is on the brink of destruction. Because the people say, the Bassa that I'm from, the Bassa people, the interior, they people say, you call the men when something happens. Because men protect women. The thing there is, they're calling the women right now. You know, look, when you look at the people they call Zoko, when you look at the people they call Zoko, there is a guy in Liberia, he's the director general of Lina, Liberia News Agency. They call him Kwame Owis. Kwame Owis just went to Maryland County, Liberia, and did a piece. Patient, if you see the piece, that piece where young Liberian boys, the able-bodied men, the only thing they have gravitated towards is drugs, opioids, and other illegal substances that are destroying Liberia. Look, I mean, I was very, very destroyed. I was in Liberia. I saw some of my friends in, and when I came, the guy did that piece, and somebody sent me that video, patient, where you have young men who can do something, who could be the next president for our country on drugs, and there is nothing in Monrovia. I said, look, I was saying now also in the place I was living, or in the FDA community in Liberia, somewhere to they play the call Bonafan. I'm saying that, and a young man the guy just talking out of his head. The guy just talking. He got a machete in his hand. He had they collar in his hand, walking around. just talking to his so the lady who house I was living here, I said, ma, I said, I see the guy just passing, talking. The woman said, Jeff, she would not say nothing. That man are passing, that man, he one of the so-called. You see? And patient. When you have the so-called leadership of Liberia not doing anything for that, then I wonder as to whether these people when they leave office, they're going to live in Liberia. That's the question I ask, because Joe said something one time. He said, if you put a trap in the town, you set a trap in the town. That trap is not for chicken alone. It's for anybody that pass in from there.
Yes.
You see? So the question that I ask Liberian people is, now that they are flying, you know, we quick to forget. We quick to forget. When I lived in Liberia, I saw the guy they called Jenkins Scott, who was the justice minister in the Doe regime. And somebody sent me a newspaper where Jenkins Scott was eating on the ground. I mean, eating on the garbage. Liberian people suffer from what they call forgetfulness. Forgetfulness is what they suffer from.
Yes.
Which is amnesia, which is a disease. You understand? You know, look, they let let me I will give you a case in point. You have you mhm. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know, this mental health issue in Liberia has become an endemic in Liberia. You know, we have these guys that have been, you know, rebels in the war or post-war, that have experienced post-war trauma, PTSD, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder. And so these, especially the rebels, these young kids that were told to fight a war, to kill innocent people, that can mess with your mind.
Very true.
It messes with your mind. It messes with your mental state. So now we have all of these people in Liberia now that have this mental health issue, that have this drug issue, substance abuse issue, and there's no treatment. It is not a quick fix. The government have to do something about it. We need mental health counseling. They need mental health treatment. It is not a one-day fix. It is not a quick fix. It can be fixed.
You know, let me just add to what my sister Fasia just said. Sister Fasia, the community we live in here in America, if somebody was to shoot somebody in this community right now, you will find they will bring in social worker, they will bring in a whole bunch of team to de-traumatize them.
Mm-hmm.
The international community got together. Think about the Akasumo Accord that was signed that brought the war to an end. Not only the Akasumo Accord, many accords were signed to bring the war to an end with Tony Blair and all these people on board. Billions of dollars. That's why I was talking about education. Were given to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her cronies. Joe Weah, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and all these people squander that money. The disarmament they talk about in Liberia that was supposed to take place, they incorporated that into the disarmament. They incorporated that into the disarmament. The leadership, the so-called leadership of Liberia, don't care for the citizens of the country. If they knew Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, number one, when I don't know as what Ellen Johnson Sirleaf ever think about look, my mother is one of the people I love so much. My father and myself couldn't get along because we used to resemble. But my mother, I love my mother. Even when she died, I thought I was going to die because of the way I felt losing my mother. But the thing there with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, that lady is one of the people that destroyed Liberia to its core. If you want to know that, talk to the dude that interviewed her or doing the Al Jazeera interview. That's why Lima Bowie pulled out of the friendship the lady that won the Nobel Peace Prize with her. The key there is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf then don't have the country at heart. They decided to squander everything they gave. $16 billion that woman squandered in Liberia. Physical cash. You understand? That could have gone and de-traumatized some of those people and put some of them back in their right mind. You understand? The people are not even looking at de-traumatization. They're looking at the fact that they can get up when somebody want to dig that on it. When Ellen was in office, she was paying. I said, boys, then I used to come here. She was paying somebody boys and not to say nothing about her. The question there is, we are doesn't do that. You can go and say anything because we are come from nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. You understand? So he doesn't care for repetition. Okay? The people that are ruling our country today, they are die poor people that are ruling Liberia today. Patient. You think? Look, let me tell you something. A point that you made. You know, I'm related to Tom with you. Patient, you know that. I could have gone to Liberia and maybe people would have heard, Tom Willie had a brother that came here. He was very bad and he died in the war, or he filthy richer than Benedict Ure because it is the same stealing money that Benedict Ure then operating with in Liberia. But they're the key. People can choose to be good and be bad. You see?
That's right.
So I look. The war, when I was living with Tom Williams, when Glad Johnson used to come here, they let Glad Johnson, who died in Grand Bassa County, right near the Louisa Hotel there, I developed the film. They buried Glad in Lac. So I have information when it comes to politics in Liberia. And patient, I'm not kidding you, I know. There are things that I know I can divulge on this phone or on this program. But the thing that is, if you have these people who only thinking about themselves and they allowing Liberia to go to help in the hand basket, Liberia is being destroyed, then of course we have a problem there. When you're talking, everybody laughing at you and say, "Oh my man, the same thing happened in America." The more rackety person in this country want to defend this country because you know why? He got some kind of money coming from the government somewhere and they're getting something to eat. They and their family. But there is nothing.
Yes, and there's a system in place. You know, healthcare in Liberia, it needs to be on the top.
Right.
It needs to be at the top. Because when citizens are healthy, you have a better society.
Right. They think, look, security and healthcare go hand in hand.
Exactly so.
Security and healthcare go hand in hand. Let me tell you something. If you left from here, you want to go to Liberia to build a house. You build a real nice house. You open business. How will you protect your business if there is no law and order in the country?
Well, first of all, you build a beautiful house in Liberia. You have to build a high fence that people cannot see the beauty of your home.
Right.
You know?
Patient, you leave from here. When you leave from here and go to Liberia, you got to have security of your own. It may not be your armed security, but you got to be in group. Because in the first place, because the thing is, if you're in group, at least you're able to drive them off. Because if you start walking around with your firearm, they will say, oh, the man came over to the government, or the woman came from Liberia. They will start calling all kind of names. They will start calling you all kind of names. But the key there is this: you got people in Liberia right now that look, you leave from here, you go to Liberia, you're not safe. You go to Liberia, at 6 o'clock, you gotta be in the house. You gotta be somewhere where people gonna I went the lady who house I was in. Every minute the lady locking the door and she's making sure they steel raw. Somebody coming in there because I come from America for them to cut the steel raw and this and that. The same community, the people that are going to be asking you, oh, wait a minute, and they know you when you get in Liberia, they know the way you look. You see?
Yes, they do.
They will come and cut the steel raw in the neck and try to harm you. You see? These things that look, I was in Liberia when Joe said something, he said, everybody need to be security for themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's the president speaking. Everybody need to be security for themselves. You see?
You know, I was listening to a show prior to coming on, and a lady, they were talking about this same incident that happened in Yucatan. And there was a lady that called from Germany. I hate to stereotype these people as, you know, what they call Zogos or Zogis. But she said, these people are well organized within their community. They are very organized, and it's not just one group. They have groups. They have groups that attack you with knives. They have group that still just, you know, check your phone. They have group that goes to your house to steal. They are very, very organized.
You know. Let me tell you this.
And it's because it's a huge problem that needs to be dealt with. If not, it's going to be a bigger issue.
Let me tell you this, Sister Fastia. You got more police and you got more crime. That means the police and the criminals are in cahoots. I'm serious. More criminals and more crime. More police and more criminals. You got more police. Patrick Sure, you know, this guy is very cocky. And another guy they got there, they call Jefferson Cochi, who's a mayor for the city of Monrovia. I don't know what mayorship. What kind of mayor, what he doing. When you look at the whole of Monrovia, Monrovia and its environment, is so dirty. I'm serious. You got more police, and you got more criminals. So the police and the criminals gotta be in cahoots. Now, if you look how the people operate in Liberia, look, patient. Let me tell you something. One of the things I don't do is to be afraid of from Joe. We are coming all the way to the more rackety government official. I was talking that day before. Yes. Look, to be afraid of Joe, we are and the more rackety government official from Joe. We are coming all the way. I'm not afraid of none of these people. I'm not afraid of these people. You know, look, let me tell you something. The pastor man got a parable that says, when a fish die in the river, it don't finish. You know, when they silence people, the younger generation who are more energetic than us are coming up. You see? Samuel Doe got rid of people who he called enemy in Liberia, patient. And some the government. You hear we live in America, we got Joe Biden, the president. If we got a president and more especially, let's say the state, they got local government in the various states. When George Floyd were murdered by that policeman, guess what? Everybody was demonstrating, everybody was in the street. Forget about even the George Floyd incident. But when those kind of things take place, where there was mass killing, of people in a place. Why did it take place? They don't tell me Patrick Sule and the so-called security group in Liberia don't know what is going on. That there is Joko there. So if you got
Yeah, but you know this, I think this is first of a kind.
I understand.
Nobody expected this to happen. So I mean, let's go right where right belong. For us to say that to hold the government responsible, that's you know, that's a thin line.
The reason why I said the government need to be held responsible is why security was not provided to that large crowd. Every large crowd that gather in Liberia, anywhere in the world, there are security there.
Because this was a Christian crowd.
Okay, but
and most crusades, crusades, I think those that are having the crusade should be the ones to provide their security. Come on, if who Joe Austin is having some concert, some religious concert, does Biden send security to that concert place? No. Joe Austin is responsible for, yeah, but the little city of Nukutown. What manpower do they have to provide their own security?
The thing that is, if Joe Austin always has his crusade in right security, yes.
Okay.
But
yeah, but we're talking about Liberia now. We are talking about Liberia. That does not happen. Everyone is for themselves. And they provide their own security.
No, the state provides security.
Okay.
But 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 yeah, the key here, the key here. You had peaceful demonstrators who mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but but you, but you see,
Yes.
You you know, Sister Fasia, one of the things that I would tell you a little story that took place in Liberia when I was in Liberia one time. They had a parliament they called Berry. The parliament were working for Teacher Tree and Son, Lebanese people. And they were working in a warehouse and the candy, a bag of the candy busted, and the man took one of the candy and ate it. The Lebanese people choked that man to death
Wow.
in Liberia. What do you think should have happened to the Lebanese people? Samuel Doe was president during that time. That's the hypocrisy of the Liberian so-called political leadership. These people don't elect their own citizens. Those of us who are here in America, if America was not our second home when something happened to you, if you had a green card and something happened to you in a country, if you didn't naturalize yourself, sister, you will have problems because the first thing the Liberian government ain't going to say nothing about you. There are citizens of Liberia that are all over the world, places in Lebanon and all the places where they are taking advantage of those people. They're killing you, they're doing this, they're doing that, and the government of Liberia cannot say anything about their citizens. And that's how we, the Liberian people, have been. The key there, look, I'm not trying to put nobody down. Number one, number two, I'm not just speaking like this because I hate anybody. I don't hate nobody because I'm not going back to Liberia to hold any position. Where I'm working right now, where I'm living good. I mean, like you will say, oh, you know the man doing his good home job. And I respect people who does good home job because it's a job that put food on the table for them, but that's not what I do. That's not what I do. I'm an engineer. Were in Liberia when George Bulley, when the coup took place, George Bulley was the education minister under Samuel Doe. George Bulley is a crime man who decided to pick a gun and murder thousands of people in Liberia, and the only thing the crime people blessing with is a senatorial position in Grand Jude. How do you expect for development of country that kind of country? In Nima, in Nima County is Prince Johnson. Patient,
But that's what she's saying. You know, Liberians, we are quick to forget. They say you came my mind, you came my power, I will vote for you. So what more?
You know, I said something recently. Charles Taylor's son has changed his name from Chucky to Gomai. Gomai. Because you know, one of the things that you have to look at is co-killers, people who are co-killers, people who are real wicked and they kill people. The only time they feel remorse is when they have gone to prison. I work in the prison. I work in the United States prison system. Taylor's son is in a level 5 prison here in federal prison. You understand? This kid, all the people that boy killed, it didn't make me angry the way the death of Isaac Gono make me angry. There was a bastard boy that was working for Charles Taylor's son, and he used to be a driver. And Taylor's son killed him in cold blood. I asked the later on, I said, Tom, what did you say when Taylor's son killed that young man who had his life ahead of him? You know, look, Sister Fasia, and and Reverend Patient. Taylor's son had changed his name from Chucky to Gomai. He has seen God in prison. Gomai. I don't know. But the reason why I'm saying this to you, the other day, he had an interview with Henry Costa from a level 5 prison, federal prison here. A lot of the court killers go to jail then before they start thinking, oh, if I had known. Then they start talking nice things, what they could have done. Because he's in a 9-year prison, and I think that sentence was too small for him. They should have added more. You see? These are things. Patient, I was, when the late Trump came from Liberia, when he came, and the federal government picked him up at the Newark airport, I used to go to the prison to sit with him sometimes to have a conversation. When I'm sitting there with him and he and myself having conversations, he used to tell me, he would come and bash on me and say, bro, I should have listened to you. You see, people, look, I watched a movie called The Renaissance Man, Patient. And the man who was the leading actor in that movie, he used a parable. He said, the choices we make dictate the life we lead.
True.
Mm-hmm. Minutes. It was a pleasure to have brought me on tonight, Patient. Thank you so much, Pastor Patient and Sister Fasia, for you and myself to be on the same table here tonight. But Liberia deserves better. We have a constitution. Our country was founded in 1847, and up to today, there is no burning, there is no electricity in the country, there is no running water. Schools are dilapidated. Corruption is a commonplace in our land. I hope that the leadership of Liberia can step back and look at themselves and not for them to be called another Gomai in prison. Thank you.
This was such a tragic incident that happened in Newcastle in Liberia. And my condolences to the family members of the bereaved. But mental health is a serious issue in Liberia. And healthcare needs to be a priority. These people need help. And I pray that Liberia will rise again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.